Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. In this video I'm going to go over how to take the upgrade kit that I designed for the Jinbao Predaking and assemble it with the individual robots. So the first thing I'd like to go over is the wings. We have these new tips and they just slide over the originals. And these large ones, they just slip over the top like that. So those are pretty simple. We also have this adapter here that's going to raise the wings up on his back. So we can install that now if we want. Set that aside. So we have these new gun barrel extensions. These have a slot underneath and there's an area that's wider near the base. That area that's wider near the base will go over this area here that's wider in the gun. You can bring the gun, you can extend the gun to do this, or you could leave it retracted, it doesn't matter either way. But you line, and this will go in like this. So this will go up in like that. So you find that wider area, that opening, and you line it up with this wider piece of the gun, and then you just press fit it into place. Make sure I got it lined up, and it just goes like that, and then collapse the gun, and then you've got your barrel extension. Okay, for the feet you're going to have this little component here that's going to snap into that opening right there, like that. And you're going to take this little bit in the back and you're going to flip it up, and it'll stay better in place once the robot's installed. But between that component and this new piece here, it'll prevent that forward and backward motion on the ball joint, which could cause your robot to tip over. Okay, and then we have these new bases for the feet. This is your front, this is your back, and these are pretty easy to install. You take the back heel here of the foot, slide it in there on an angle, and then you've got this huge tab that's going to go into that cavity underneath the foot, and it's going to go in like that. Then we can take our robot and we're going to configure him like this. We're not going to put the legs around back. We're going to configure it just like this, both of them. And you've got two holes here and here. And you get a bunch of holes down here. And you've got these little brackets. Now these brackets are going to stiffen up the robot so there's no turning or flexing. You're going to take this bracket, and the two that are spaced wider apart will go towards the top, and the two that are spaced closer together will go to the bottom in these two holes here and here. And we're just going to press them in and press those in, and that's going to really tighten him up. So again, that's how your leg is going to look. And you're going to have this bracket in the back. And we can take this, spread it out, and we can line everything up. Just like before. Go now, and that leg is all done, and this leg was already done off camera. I just need to put the foot back on, or the foot base, just like that. Okay, so we're going to set these aside for a second, and we're going to go on to the arms, but I'm missing one. Okay, sorry about that. I had this guy sitting off to the side. Okay, so for the arms, we're going to do things a little bit differently. We're going to have the robot transformed to look like this. So his legs are extended. And we have some components here that are going to attach to the arm. So here's the hand assembly. And what we're going to do is we're going to attach these elbow fillers, the midsection fillers first. So there's 2 round pegs on the inside of each, 2 larger pegs on one, 2 smaller pegs on the other to tell you which side they go on. So for example, this has the 2 larger pegs. It'll go on this side here and they'll peg into there. And then we'll flip it around. And the 2 smaller pegs will peg into here, and then there's a tab that'll peg into this slot right here. So tab right there, that slot right there. So we can get all of this lined up, and everything should click together like that. And that gives you the middle of your arm filled out, and it allows you to have that double jointed arm. Okay, now for the hand, which is the tricky part, we open these up, these leg panels, and you're going to want, this is going to go in here like this. There's this groove in here, and it's going to have channels in these panels that this will sit in. And the tricky part here is getting this lined up with the groove, as well as both feet in place in here and here. So first thing we're going to start with is we're going to get these feet in place, and this is tricky. They push in there like that. Come on. What I also recommend doing, I might as well, is there's a screw right there. If you loosen that screw, it'll allow some play here, and you'll get your feet in. And when your feet are in, tighten down that screw, and it'll tighten down onto these feet. Like that, and then as we're closing it up, we got to bring the feet down towards the legs on those hinges, but keep these open. There we go. Now that we have that in there, has that groove, come around this side, make sure the leg is closed up, and that is in there. So that, we have a foot not in place. Hold on. There we go. That is in there. So that is how that should look. And then I have some trim pieces for here. You can choose one or the other, doesn't matter. That will just go in between these feet. Keep like that. Keep that locked into place like that. Just like that. Okay. Now, I already have the other arm done up. I just don't have my trim piece put in here. That keeps that locked in place. So there you go. We have a couple of other options here too. We have this little bracket here. Where this can go is right here. just like there's some grooves on the other side, so it only fits one way. And you can put it on, snap it into place, just like that. Is it all the way in? Not quite yet. There. So that's all the way in. Now what that does, it gives you options for his big gun. Right now I have a bracket on there, and I'll go over this bracket in a second. But we could attach his big gun here. We could attach it up in that upper hole, but then it gets in the way of his arm. But right now you can have it like that. Or we also have this bracket. This bracket will go on the other side here, in here, and it will attach. It just fits in the two grooves right there, and it latches into place if you push it down hard enough. And you can also, you have two hole options here for wherever you want to place your gun. I usually put it in the forward one just if I can have them near the end of the hand as possible. So you have that option as well for the gun. So there's a couple of options there on how you want this gun displayed on his arms. Okay, so we're going to set those aside now. We're going to bring the legs back in, because we're going to attach this exoskeleton here. So this is something you will assemble after you print everything, and there is an assembly gallery with the model set that will go over how everything here is assembled and what hardware you need. So we got a waist rotation ratcheted. We've got a little bit of an ab crunch there. It can go as far as there. And we've got knee bend out to the side, to the front, that far, out to the back, that far. So, before we get to the rest of the assembly, we might as well install the legs onto the exoskeleton. Same tab as before that you'll find in Razor Claw, in these. And these just go in here, and with a little bit of force, they snap into place. Just like that. Okay, so we're going to set that aside. We're going to take Razor Claw, and this is the configuration you want to have Razor Claw in. So I'll go over. So I've removed. You'll have to remove this crotch plate. It just tabs in anyways. So take that off. Mine's broken, so it's useless anyway. Take that off. You don't need it. And you're going to have him. Here's a side view. Here's his legs in the back, like this, just to give you an idea how they're bent. And here's the view of his head right there. So you can see Razor Claw's head right there, and Predaking's head's inside the body. So just like that. Other than that, that's pretty simple. That's all you have to do. You've got a left and right upper chest. There is a peg hole right there that the combiner peg here will go into. And it'll take a little bit of force, but it goes in. There. And then same with the other side. Get that head out of the way. Just a little bit of force. There we go. Because those pegs are tight. This line doesn't like to stay tabbed. This line head. But and you're going to leave these legs pegged together. These came unpegged on me while I was messing around. But you leave them pegged together. And you have that like that. Let me push his head back down there. Get up there. This thing does not like to stay pegged. Okay, so you have this like this. Like that. Like that. This next part, I'm gonna take a look at the camera screen here and make sure I'm getting this in the shot. We've got these 4 pegs right here. They're going to go into peg holes in either side of the upper body. And this takes a little bit of doing to get this lined up. Work on one side at a time, get it started. Once you got one side started, move on to the other side to get it started. I just got one. There you go. Come on. There we go. That's done. There. You'll hear audible clicks just like that. Get this peg in this damn thing. Stupid line. He doesn't like the line head does not like to stay pegged in to that little tiny peg hole. Oh well, he can just sit flat there in the chest. Okay. So we have that looking like that. Okay, so we're getting rather tall. Bring his arms back up. Now, with the gun barrel extensions around, instead of using the 2 original slots that these tab into, there's new slots on either side of the new left and right chest pieces that these slot into just like that. So that looks like that. Then we can take his wings with this new bracket and put them in place. We will have to flip it around so you guys can see this. We'll move those down just temporarily, but we'll have to move them back up a little again so we have our clearance for our waist rotation. We have our large combiner type peg, 2 smaller pegs that will go in here and here. Just like that. And then we just put those legs back up. Don't want to engage his ab crunch. Get those legs back up there. Turn him around. Like I said, he's very stable. I can lean him way back. I can lean him way forward. He ain't gonna fall over. So let's get our arm bots on here. And it's the same as the combiner peg that's on Razor Claw. There, just like that. And like okay. I need to get some grip here. There we go. Get on there. Okay. Put these back on. Then you could spread his wings out. These ones here can easily come off because they don't slide over, they just sit on top, but they're still not too bad. But the same, I don't know. Okay, now we have the center upper body that's going to go down. On either side of Razor Claw's head there's a gap. These two large tabs will slide in there, and on either side of the lion head, and on either side of the yellow, this yellow component here, these will slide in place. You have to make sure everything's lined up. And get him in place. Just like that. And there we go. And his head's got full range of motion. And he won't fall over. He can hold this sword up without falling over. And I'll get the gun here. So let's take this right there. And let's take this hand. Find the two slots. Right there. The issue is with the guns, you're not going to be able to angle them because they get in the way of the wings. So this is the only position right now I have for the guns. In the future, if I make another update that corrects that, I'll add that to the set of files up on CGtrader. So that's the front view. That's the side view. That's it. He's not going to fall over. He'll lean if you don't pose him right, but he won't fall over. Stupid ab crunch. There's an optional midsection piece too without an ab crunch, if you don't care for that. Around here, this ab crunch on this side is, there we go. The ab crunch was, there's tabs there to prevent him from doing an ab crunch, and they weren't tabbed in. So there's his back. Now, okay, I'm going to take this sword out of his hand. Yeah, stupid ab crunch. You have in place. There you go. Okay, there's one other feature that he has. So the guns here, these guns here on this fella, if you want to take them off him, there's tabs, there's little slots on the sides of his midsection here. You can tab these in. You give them a similar feeling to like Power of the Prime's Predaking and whatnot. Oh, let's make you size comparison now. See him standing here, and I like taking his sword, and I like doing this. Getting the slots. turning it like that, putting it over his shoulder like this. Then I like taking, so that's a pose that I like to get him in, right there. And we'll do a quick size comparison here before we wrap this up. We'll take in Power of the Primes Predaking and set him next to him. Just to give you an idea of the size difference, and to the top of his head, he is just shy of 22 inches. If I straighten out his legs, he'll be 22 inches. So this kit really drastically changes the look of this combiner. It gives him a greater range of posability. It drastically increases his stability, and it gives him that cartoon aesthetic, from the thighs to the midsection waist to his head sculpt. I was going for that cartoon aesthetic. For the guns here, putting them there instead of on the arm, that's more of a tribute to the toy, right? But that option is there. You don't have to have them there. You can keep them on the arm. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope this video was helpful on how to assemble this kit with your Jinbao oversized Ferrorex KO set. Have a good one.